Imagine that everything you've lived until now, every fall, every impulse, every breath of doubt or faith has not been a coincidence. That an invisible map exists, not written in ink, but etched in symbols upon your soul. That map is called spiritual alchemy. Not doctrine, not technique, but inner fire. A forgotten science that cannot be learned by the mind, but remembered by the heart. This journey doesn't begin when you understand. It begins when you burn. When the ordinary becomes ritual. When your shadow no longer terrifies, but reveals. Your journey begins here. To discover your magic and learn to wield your power. But beware, once the inner alchemist awakens, there is no turning back. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe. Imagine that at the very center of your chest there lies a dormant spark. Invisible, flameless, but always present. Waiting, pulsing in the depth of your silence. This spark is your forgotten fire, not born from anger or desire, but from something far older, the memory of who you were before you forgot. And today, without planning it, something within you begins to stir. Not anxiety, not sorrow, but sacred unrest. The call of the inner alchemist. Everything begins to fracture. Certainties wobble. Routines lose meaning. A whisper in your gut tells you, this is not everything. You feel lost, but something in you knows that loss is the beginning. Chaos does not arrive to punish, it arrives to reveal. You've entered Nigredo, the first phase. The dark portal where transformation begins not with light, but with shadow. Here the ego displays its masks. The need to control, to please, to belong. Everything you thought you were becomes heavy like dull lead. But the ancients whisper, this lead is the raw material of inner gold. So don't run. Stay. Listen to your sadness without trying to fix it. Face your fear without needing to erase it. For the alchemist does not fight their shadows. They contemplate them until they reveal their true face. And then, imperceptibly, something shifts. As you walk through your darkness, a light ignites. It does not come from the outside. It arises when you allow yourself to feel. When you let pain speak uncensored. That light is your inner fire. It purifies without destruction. It transforms without violence. You have lit it, perhaps unknowingly, perhaps without rituals. But by looking inward with honesty, the process has begun. Do not expect an external ceremony, nor magical words to confirm it. Spiritual alchemy needs no witnesses, only courage, lighting a candle without reason, writing without fear, crying without explanation. All of this is alchemy. Every conscious act is fire. Every chosen silence, a ritual. And while life continues, and the world may not notice your transformation, you've crossed an invisible threshold. You responded to the call without knowing it was a call. You've remembered your fire. Even if you don't yet know how to wield it, you are no longer asleep. You have awakened. You have begun the great work. When the spark becomes fire, you have awakened. But when the spark lights up, not everything becomes clear. On the contrary, new doors open that lead you into the crucible, that inner space where the true alchemist works. Not with formulas but with shadows. Resistances arise. Intense emotions. Subtle sabotage. It seems like regression, but it's not. It is deep alchemy. Your inner dragons manifest, not to destroy you but so that you can finally recognize them. And when you do, something begins to break free. Pain doesn't punish, it reveals. What you once called chaos becomes knowledge. The second threshold, when light rises from within. Just when the waters of the soul cease boiling, a new phase unfolds. Clarity emerges, not as mental certainty but as deep intuition. You begin to notice signs, to hear what you once ignored, to feel peace despite the world remaining unchanged. It's not about miracles, it's about internal coherence. Your body asks for cleansing. Your relationships ask for silence. Your fire asks for direction. You no longer flee your past, you bless it. You no longer fear your shadow, you've observed it. What once was noise is now signal. What was burden is now purpose. Without even noticing, you've left chaos behind, not because it disappeared but because you've learned to walk within it, flame intact. You've crossed another threshold. You've returned to yourself. And although your full power hasn't yet manifested, the gold has already begun to form in the invisible. Rabido, embodying the alchemical gold. When the fire ceases to be merely an internal whisper and begins to reflect in your gaze, something shifts. Now it's not just about healing or understanding, but embodiment. What was once intuition becomes action. What was theory becomes behavior. You're no longer searching for spirituality outside yourself. You are living it. You're in Rabido, the phase where alchemical gold is no longer promise but presence. Now everything becomes a test. Not as punishment but as vibrational verification. Can you hold the light in the middle of the mundane? Can you respond with consciousness when someone touches an unhealed wound? Can you look into someone's eyes without wearing masks? Because now, every gesture, every word, every choice reverberates with your inner fire. And the world notices. Your relationships shift. Your environment reorganizes itself. Not because you've imposed anything, but because your frequency no longer tolerates previous disorder. You discover that power is not dominance. It's coherence. To choose from center, not reaction. And that the most potent magic is often lived in silence. To breathe before speaking. To bless before judging. To light a candle without needing complex ritual. Everything becomes a rite when born from presence. And now you walk with the flame lit. Not as a master, not as a guru, but as a daily alchemist. Beyond self, the invisible network. Yet there's more. Something that transcends your personal path. You begin to feel you are not alone. That what you choose, transform, and carry has resonance in an invisible network. As if other hearts were also burning, remembering, walking alongside you even if paths never cross. It's the network of silent alchemists. Some embodied, others in other planes. All united in a shared mission. To liberate the light trapped in matter. And then the cycle renews. What seemed like an ending becomes a beginning. The spiral ascends again. Because the fire you've lit did not come to remain still. It came to multiply. To light other fires. To touch other souls. Perhaps without words. Perhaps with your presence alone. The living flame. The impulse that brought you here was no accident. It was your initiation. Each step, each shadow, each spark. Part of your great work. Now you understand. Alchemy is not a journey to another world. It's bringing that other world into your day. Into your body. Into your relationships. Into your silence. So continue. Breathe. Water. And above all, ignite. Because you are already fire. Already gold. Already alchemist. And now that you've crossed the 5 portals, faced your shadows without fear, named chaos and embraced light, there's only one thing left to do. Live it. Because spiritual alchemy does not end in knowledge. It culminates in embodiment. In your gestures, your decisions, in how you breathe when no one's watching. Your magic is not hidden, it is present. Your power is not conquest, it is coherence. Each day can be ritual. Each encounter a test. Each word a golden spark. And if you ever doubt, if the fire seems to dim, remember, the sacred never dies. It only waits to be invoked. You are the alchemist. You are the flame. And the world is ready to burn with you. As always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.